The NBA draft lottery is in the books, and while we were all hoping for that slim chance at the number one pick with a 1.7% chance at winning the Cooper Flagg Sweepstakes, the same odds the Bulls had at getting the number one pick back in 2008 when they landed Derrick Rose. But of course, as you all know by now, it wasn't meant to be. But not only was it not meant to be, this draft lottery was especially gut-wrenching because not only did the Bulls stay at number 12, the team they tied with to finish the regular season with the same record of 39-43, a team they lost the coin flip tiebreaker to, and the Dallas Mavericks moved up not only into the top 4, but secured the number 1 pick. The Bulls missed out on Cooper Flagg on a lost coin flip. Absolutely brutal. I was live streaming the draft lottery while it was going on, so some of you probably saw my reaction in real time to see the Mavs jump up into the top 4, and then when we learned they got the number 1 pick, like, to me, I would have been fine had it been a scenario where the Bulls didn't move up into the top 4 and they got the number 12 pick, because that's what we expected to happen anyway. They had an 85% chance at getting the 12th pick, and I would have been fine if things had more or less played out where the teams far below the Bulls had moved up. And actually, scratch that. I would have been fine had any other team moved up to get the number 1 pick over the team the Bulls lost the tiebreaker to. Because the way it played out meant the Bulls were just that much closer to getting a franchise-changing player. There are a few things I want to say, though, because there were obviously a lot of reactions on Twitter following the results of the draft lottery from a lot of Bulls fans. And what I'll say is this, that as unfortunate as it was and how this played out, where it came down to a coin flip for the Bulls and getting the number 1 pick, at the end of the day, this just once again demonstrates that tanking is not a viable strategy. Hoping for lottery luck is not a strategy. This is now the second year in a row where a play-in team, a team that had less than a 3% chance at winning the lottery, the Hawks had a 3% chance last year, the Mavs a 1.8% chance this year, while on the flip side, this is the third year in a row, 3 years in a row now, where the worst team in the NBA, the team with the worst record this year was the Utah Jazz, fell out of the top 4. The Jazz and Wizards were horrible this year. They spent most of the season losing and playing unwatchable basketball, all but to get the 5th and 6th pick, respectively. Now look, I get the whole game of probabilities. Like, I'm not dumb. I understand that even though it's not guaranteed, even though it is luck, you want to give yourself the best chance possible at landing a top pick. Yes, I'm aware that 14% is better than 2%. Yes, if you're a rebuilding team, tanking team, you want to give yourself the most cracks at it to move up in the draft lottery. I get all of that. But look how things played out. There are so many different outcomes and scenarios when it comes to the draft lottery, and you can try and control it as much as you can, but in reality, you have such little control into how things are going to play out. And what drives me crazy is some of the logic I'm seeing from Bulls fans and even some in the media that say, well, had Josh Giddey just not hit that half-court shot against the Lakers, the Bulls could have had Cooper Flagg, or had they just lost one more game, they would have gotten Cooper Flagg, because that would have meant they would have finished in sole position with the 11th worst record, and therefore there would never have been a tiebreaker. Like, do you know how many different ways that could also be said? Well, what if the Mavs had just won one more game? What if the Bulls lost more than one additional game? Which, mind you, some people wanted the Bulls to do, lose a lot more games. If they had lost a few more games and fell below the Blazers, then you're looking at a scenario where the Blazers jump the Bulls to get the number 1 pick, and the Bulls end up with the 11th pick. Like the Blazers did, by the way. They finished with a worse record and fell back. The same thing could be said if they lost even more to say where Toronto finished, and they fell back 2 spots. The Raptors fell to 9th. Like, the whole what-if game is fun and all, and we can sit here yelling about all the possible outcomes that would have worked in the Bulls' favor had they lost 1, 2, 3, or however many more games. At the end of the day, it goes back to what I've been saying all along. It's a crapshoot. It's the roll of a dice. It's luck. It is undetermined. It is not a certainty. There are just as many ways where things can go wrong as they do go right, and you cannot control it. The Bulls got unlucky, as did a lot of other teams, and some got really lucky, particularly the Mavs and the Spurs. We can be mad about it all we want. Say the lottery is rigged, or it's a broken system because of how the odds are structured, or that the lottery favors tanking teams, but then sometimes said tanking teams get screwed. We have the right to be mad about the rules of the draft lottery and wish that it was different, but this is how it's currently structured. A lottery system that is largely based on luck, with even still low probabilities for the worst of the worst to land the number 1 pick. Now, all that said, it is going to be interesting given the top 3 picks went to teams that aren't necessarily in rebuild mode. Well, the Mavs and Sixers most certainly are not, and I think most would argue that with the Spurs trading for De'Aaron Fox, and now the emergence obviously of Victor Wembanyama, they're going to be looking to compete. That maybe there will be opportunities to trade up into the top 3 if you're the Bulls. Not sure the Bulls have the trade chips to get there, but I could easily see the Spurs trading the number 2 pick to get more of a win now type player. Giannis comes to mind. The Sixers, same thing. Maybe look to get a player they can use to add talent to their failed roster that existed last year. I highly doubt the Mavs would ever consider trading the rights to Cooper Flagg, regardless of where they are in their current direction, but who knows? They did trade their franchise player for peanuts, so who knows Nico Harrison, what he's going to do and what direction he'll want to take with this. Also, can we just talk about what a bone the basketball gods gave Nico Harrison, where after he made arguably one of the worst trades of all time for getting such little in return for Luka Doncic, he then gets gifted Cooper Flagg. They instantly get handed another franchise player. Like, come on now. Man really didn't deserve that. And no, I do not think the lottery is rigged. I get why some would think that, but if it was rigged, this would eventually get out and be a massive story the media members in the drawing room would love to break, and completely, not only that, it would completely ruin the legitimacy and credibility of the league, and they would really struggle to recover from that kind of scandal. It's just not worth it for the NBA to do that. I do agree though, it does look pretty sus when of all teams the Mavericks moved up to number 1, especially with all the conspiracy theories around the league about the trade for Luka and how they wanted that to happen because they wanted Luka in the biggest market next to LeBron. It's definitely strange, but it's not rigged, guys. And it's just unfortunate that the Bulls got the short end of the stick here to narrowly miss out on the number 1 pick for a chance at a generational talent that could have reshaped this franchise. But anyway, now we know the Bulls have the number 12 pick. That is confirmed and set in stone. Well, for now, who knows if they try and trade up. But now it is confirmed. I will start doing some draft prospect videos and some of the best options for the Bulls for players who are most likely to fall in that range, so be on the lookout for that. I'll also do a video on what the results of the draft lottery will likely mean for the rest of the league, trade implications, etc. on my NBA channel. A link to that channel can be found in the description. Let me know what you guys thought of how the order went down today. Let me know in the comments. And guys, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.